Okay, so this is my deck. This is where I spend half my year. This is where I work. This is where I play. Okay, now I have been for quite a while looking forward to coming up with an umbrella alternative. At this table we used to have a typical umbrella that would go up and down. I was very tired of having to put it down anytime there was even modest wind, like 11, 12 miles an hour, which happens on a regular basis. I can't tell you how many times it was a beautiful, hot, sunny day, but just because of a medium wind, I had to put it down to either risk ruining the umbrella or having the whole table and base tip over. So I also was tired of having everything get wet, having to put the cushions away every day, and not being able to have a TV. So what I did was I came up with the help of the MakerPipe parts with my awning. It is made of heavy-duty canvas. I used a standard 10 by 12 canvas that I found. It is thick and almost completely waterproof. You can buy custom size, cut to size tarps. They are very expensive, but you do have that option. So just to tell you about it real quick, the basis of it is that it is screwed into the fascia. It is screwed into the fascia just below the gutter so that no rain gets through. The rain runs off and goes out into the yard. I used eye bolts, that bolt in. I was able to just use 4 of them. Now, that is something you want to be very careful with. I was lucky to have a 2 by 6 plank as a fascia. Very thick, very strong. You want to make sure what you're screwing into because wind can be very strong. Okay, I used 3/4 inch pipe. The main part I used from MakerPipe is the T connector. I used it for all my corners. I also used the end plugs, which are very nice. They give it a very finished look. Okay. Because I have a 10-foot awning, I was able to use just untouched, uncut 10-foot pieces of EMT conduit for my length. And if you have enough pitch, which is something that you really need to look into, if you want it to be waterproof and you don't want it to hold water and be weighed down and turn into a pool on the top, which can be very heavy and potentially destructive, you need to make sure you have enough pitch. I have a pretty limited pitch here, and I'm tall, and I wanted to maximize the height underneath. If you have a lot of pitch, you could probably get away with 2 or just even maybe 1 supports running the long way, the cross members that you see here. I needed 3. I possibly could use 4, but my drainage works well. When it rains, it just before it begins to pool, it runs off the end. So that's something you want to look at. Again, the strength of what you're connecting to in the construction of your home to make sure you're under the gutter so that no water gets down into here. That allows me to keep some electrical devices like fans and televisions and cushions and my table dry. And because of the 12-foot length, the 10-foot pieces did need to be cut and joined. And for that I used the couplers. One there. And one here. And also a very important part for this build was the adjustable flange. Okay, now one thing I want to say also about this build is with an umbrella, the umbrella shape acts very much like a parachute. It really catches the wind and can be blown over quite easily. It has a high wind resistance. The awning, because it is absolutely straight, the wind cuts through it like a knife. I was blown away at the amount of wind that this system can handle. We had some hurricane force winds. The weather told me it was almost 25-mile-per-hour gusts. This handled it incredibly well. I have come up with an idea of adding additional adjustable flanges to the floor to allow me to lift out this post and lower, like a hinge, the entire awning, which would bring it out of the wind and out of a storm if necessary, but I don't foresee a need for that yet. My goal is to leave the metalwork up all winter and simply take down the canvas, because I do live in upstate New York where we get an excessive amount of snow. But I'm very happy with the way the parts worked. I had some conversations with the guys at MakerPipe. They were helpful. I really like their products. I love the way it works with basic store-bought materials, based on the EMT conduit that I can get anywhere and cut myself. And I love the fact that they have a system that helps out with the shipping, because I know that can be very expensive nowadays. So if you have any questions, let me know, and I'd be happy to talk to you. Oh, and I did want to point out too that I was able to do all my connections with plastic zip ties all around. You do want to make sure that your tension is relatively even with those. Very cheap, easy to replace each year, and very happy with my build. Loving my new waterproof deck. Happy outdoor living.